Welcome live into Homefield Advantage, presented by Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. Anthony Carlson alongside Aaron Poling. We excuse Elon Olive. He is on the way to Casper to call a rodeo this weekend. We wish the best of time to him. But first, we'll start out with some amazing news out of Rich County. Aaron, take it away.
Yeah, so Rich County is going to bring home another state championship this year as their boys golf team took first in the state championship golf tournament, with Noah Perry taking second and Jaden Desch finishing seventh. They finished a full 14 strokes ahead of Valley. So not only just a championship win, they were in pretty good control throughout the entirety of the tournament.
That's amazing. And whenever I played high school golf, whenever you can be in control in a tournament, it is the best feeling in the world, because even if it's a two-stroke lead and your team feels in control in that moment, you're not worried about the lead. You feel, you primarily feel like unstoppable, because now that other team behind you feels like they have to do everything desperation-wise to try to catch up and try to break that lead.
Yeah, it almost seems like in golf, the more aggressive you get, the further and further behind you're going to fall. So just being in front and, being able to put the foot on the gas and forcing other teams to have to maybe play a little bit differently, play out of their game just to try to catch up. That's such a great advantage to have, and the Rebels took full advantage of it, and, congratulations to them. It's a golf state championship for a program who last year, I don't want to say struggle, because they had a pretty good year last year, but you can kind of see the building blocks being set with the program last year. And then this year, when they had a couple of seniors who were a big part of the program last year, turned into seniors this year, in both Desch and Noah Perry, they went out and got it done.
Yeah, absolutely. And and what my coaches taught me when I played golf is think about the next two holes. Don't think about the whole entire tournament as a whole. And I don't know if that's being said in Rich, but it definitely feels like that, especially with a state title now with the Rebels once again. So for them, it's such a huge honor, and it's a collective group. Golf is definitely a team sport, but at the same point in time, it's unique, as in you might have another teammate in the group with you assigned, but you're not keeping each other's scores. That person from opposing team is, because they want to prevent cheating and score shaving.
I imagine if your teammates were counting your score, it'd be a lot of 60s going on out
exactly.
But
scores looking like Tiger Woods, and But for this team, it's so huge. But also, kind of going back to it, it's a team sport, but also it's individual sport. Sometimes you're the lone person from your school in that group. So there's times where you might be having to kind of play the mental game with yourself in a way, and saying, all right, how am I going to take this approach? How am I going to take this shot? If I hit it just a little bit off the toe, a little bit to the right, that ball is going to go sailing into the houses. As if I push it a little bit too in, it's going to miss the green entirely. So just a great job by the Rich Rebels, as golf is a game of mere inches within the club.
Yeah, I was going to say, it almost feels like sometimes that in golf, bogey is always given like a bad rep in pro golf. But when you're at this level, I almost feel that sometimes, depending on how a hole goes, bogeying's not the worst thing in the world.
Exactly.
And I think the Rebels did a great job of kind of saving when they needed to save, and then being aggressive and scoring when they had the opportunities to score. And now they get to celebrate another state championship trophy on the boys' side, and congratulations to them.
Yeah, and going back to that bogey golf, when I started high school golf, I wanted the pars, I wanted the birdies, I wanted to kill the competition, basically.
Yeah.
And my coach sat me down and said, play bogey golf. Relax, play bogey golf, because if you aim for par and birdie every single time, unless you're a prodigy at golf, you're going to get a worse score than what you really want out there.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be double bogeying holes. You're going to be maybe triple bogeying a par 5, So it's play the bogey golf. It just adds a +1 to your score. Not the worst thing in the world if you're a high school golfer, because high school golf is competitive, but also you have a lot of kids out there playing golf for the first time. That was even the case in Las Vegas. A lot of the kids I met throughout my high school years, they're like, oh yeah, this is my second tournament overall, like ever. And I'm like, oh, well, welcome to the fold, basically.
Yeah.
Welcome to playing high school golf, and it was always a good time out there.
Yeah, and golf's just one of those things that it kind of feels like we joke about baseball being a fickle sport. Golf is, even more. I don't know. There's something about maybe it's because I played baseball first and then I golfed, but like there's something about that ball just sitting there, and then knowing that I'm going to try to hit this thing, and there's no way I can hit it straight. Like, that will just drive you up the wall because you think, it's just, okay, lined up over the ball, perfect swing, bang, slicing. Okay, it wasn't a perfect swing.
Yeah.
And then you line up, shot out of the rough, trying to get it back into the fairway, and suddenly you blade it, and the thing flies about, 30 yards further than you wanted to, and now you're not in a better spot than you were with your last shot. You're just a little further down the course, and it's just a sport that I think can be an incredibly frustrating sport. So, I mean, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to stick in there and hang with it, and the Rebels really showed that.
But also playing, the way they had it in high school golf in Nevada is that if you made the cut through 9 holes, you played the back 9. That's how they have it. I don't know how they have it in Utah. Hopefully it's the same. But I know that within these tournaments, 18 holes, you're walking a course. You don't get the luxury of driving a golf cart around on a course when you're playing high school golf. You got to carry the bag and all your clubs in it and all that. And state tournaments are usually multi-day events.
Yeah,
so
it was a 2-day event for Utah.
So you're playing 36 holes over a course of 24 hours. I'm beat after just playing 18 holes on one day alone. And then I'm sitting on the couch watching TV or napping the rest of the day. But imagine 36 holes in 24 hours, just the physical and mental fortitude by these guys is just insanely good.
Yeah, in my defense, I probably swing the club about 40 more times than the high school golfers are when they go to these tournaments. But yeah, no, it's golf. I don't think we can stress it enough just how they say baseball is like 50-50, mental versus physical.
Yeah.
Golf, I would say, it's probably about 70-30 mental to physical, because you can do everything physically right, but if you set yourself up for the wrong shot, it's just not going to go where you want it to. But that's just mental toughness that was shown by the Rich golf team to be able to battle all through the 2-day tournament. And man, congratulations to the Rebels.
Yeah, once again, congratulations to the Rich Rebels. A huge achievement, adding another trophy into the case at Rich High School. We'll take a break here, and afterwards we will recap Bridger Valley Soccer, which just ended a week ago. This is Homefield Advantage, presented by Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital.
Hey there, I'm Jake Major, your local Medicare and insurance benefits advisor for the Bullock Agency of Wyoming. With over 25 years of experience protecting families in rural America, we understand the importance of having affordable insurance coverage. Whether you're searching for extra coverage or looking to understand and switch your Medicare options, I can help you find a range of top-rated insurance companies and tailor-made packages based on your needs. Call me, Jake Major, today at 307-209-4685, and let's discuss your insurance options. We're the Bullock Agency of Wyoming, when benefits matter.
When you have an emergency, choose Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. Open 24/7, the professional emergency room staff is trained for trauma, medical, cardiac, pediatric, orthopedic, and obstetric emergencies. Bear Lake Memorial is a critical access level 3 trauma center, offering immediate access to radiology, lab services, surgery, and internal medicine consults. The ER teams are well-trained professionals who are ready to act when you have an emergency. Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, the most caring hospital on earth.
Out here, we've always worked remote. Out here, stress usually refers to the pull on a rope. Where a stroll in the city is also a stroll in the great outdoors. Where work is a way of life, and life is good. Out here, the backyards are big, and the deals, they're even bigger. This is southwestern Wyoming, and it's where you can get the biggest deals on a vehicle you want with plenty of hometown hospitality. Heritage Auto, your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
Welcome back into Home Field Advantage, presented by Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. Before we get into the Bridger Valley, first half of our Bridger Valley soccer segment here, we'd like to thank a couple of our sponsors, Benedict's Ace, Benedict's Market, Station on Main, T7 Propane, and First Bank of Wyoming. We could not do any of this without any of your support, supporting high school athletics. And we'll hop into the first half of our Bridger Valley soccer segment as the season is officially over. All 4 of the soccer programs down in the Bridger Valley did amazing this season and fought really hard. We'll start out on the Mountain View side of things. And with the boys team, they finished 4-10, 3-9 the season. At the halfway point, they were above 500, but then injuries just massacred this squad, and it was just very tough sailing after that.
Yeah, injuries are the absolute worst in high school sports because it's not like pro sports where you have an entire minor league system where you can just, pluck the next person up. It's, you get into your systems, everyone's starting to finally feel comfortable halfway through the year, and now you got players playing everywhere, and then you're introducing new players to the lineup, and it's just really hard to, do a lot of things when you have injuries in high school sports. I mean, it's something that is almost a tale as old as time. Is if you can keep everyone healthy, that's such an advantage in high school sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with names like Nash Picola out for the season, Brockton Walker, Cade Allen, it was a squad that looked like they were destined for the state tournament. And even with injuries, they never gave up. The worst loss they had after the injury bug was a 7-1 loss at Cody. Other than that, it was 2 goals or less for the whole entire season, and this team just fought and fought and fought.
Yeah, the effort was always there.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I really love about high school sports is for the most part, the kids are going to go out there, they're going to play hard no matter the circumstances. There's not a whole lot of times where kids are going to, go out there and be like, oh, I'm just going to mail it in today. No, they go and they play hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes the talent level gets you, but the one thing you can control is effort, especially when you're going through injuries, the talent level. And it's not that all these teams are more talented than Mountain View when they're healthy. I think Mountain View could probably give everybody in, their side of the region a run for their money when they're healthy. But it's just one of those things that you can only lose so many bodies before it really impacts the team. And unfortunately for Mountain View, they lost enough bodies to where I don't want to say they were worse off, but it just kind of gets hard when, you're trying to learn a new position and, the other team has their system down, they're in their system, and you're trying to learn a new position. Say like you were a center mid, now you're playing center defense. That's a huge adjustment you have to make.
Yeah, because as a center mid, you're going to be more on the attacking side. And as a defense center mid, you're helping out the defense. You're anchored in that back half and kind of being that extra man. And I think this boys team is definitely going to come back with some fight next year. Yeah. Absolutely. 90% of the roster is coming back. Nash Picola is going to be back as a senior. He's going to be huge. The Harmon twins are going to be back. I believe Cade Allen and Brockton Walker are going to be back as well. So for this Buffalo squad, it's going to be, next season, it's definitely going to be a revenge type of season and trying to avenge the previous season. Is switching to the girls' side, they finished 5-9 on the regular season and 3-9 in conference play, and had a good run towards the end of the season, building some win streaks. Finished off with a 4-1 win on senior night versus Pinedale. And this girls' team as well, very senior loaded, but just had some of those troubles with also a very young underclass behind them.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just kind of how it works out where, soccer, you have to have 11 players on the field that are going to be 11 good players because you're only as good as your worst player in soccer on the field, where basketball, you can kind of get away a little bit with hiding someone as maybe a defensive stopper that might not be an offensive player. But when you really have to expand it to 11 players, it kind of lengthens, or I'd say shrinks your depth a bit, and it's kind of hard to field a really good soccer team especially in Wyoming high school sports. It is really hard to do that, and I think the Mountain View girls, they made positive steps forward. I know the seniors aren't really going to want to hear that, but I think the program is still continuing in the right direction as they were trying to reload from last year.
Absolutely, and also Kelsey Van Dusen, a first-year head coach. 5 wins in her first season as head coach. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. And the Lady Buffalo's offense at times was one of the best in the 3A, and sometimes they just outdo it by the defense, and that happens. in soccer where sometimes the defense just gets a better take on the ball and everything else kind of just falls into place. But both these teams are going to be eyeing a run at the state tournament next year. The girls team was the first ever team to in the soccer in the Bridge Valley to make the state tournament last year. They're going to be looking to do that again next year and be still the only team, but hopefully the boys can make that stand as the only boys team from the Bridger Valley that can make state next year. We'll take another break here on Home Field Advantage, presented by Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital.
If you've never heard a mechanic say they truly care, then you've been at the wrong place. Stacy's Repair in Woodruff is a family-owned and operated business open since 1992. Offering all types of maintenance and repair services, you can be sure your vehicle is operating at its best. Whether your vehicle is older or the newest model, gas or diesel, we fix and maintain them all. Also offering chip repair, windshield replacement, and tires. When your vehicle needs a mechanic, bring it to the ones who truly care. Stacy's Repair in Woodruff.
Founded in 1938 with hopes and dreams of serving the Bridger Valley, Benedict Trading Company was started. Now 85 years and 3 generations later, Benedict's Ace is still serving the Bridger Valley. At Benedict's Ace, you'll find all your home improvement needs. If you're wanting to update the color of your walls, they have all the supplies you need. Changing or fixing your faucet or needing to change out a light fixture can be done with ease. Time to add a backyard paradise? Stop in at Benedict's Ace for all your barbecue, patio furniture, lawn maintenance, and gardening needs. Stop in and visit their friendly staff at 1080 North Highway 414 in Mountain View.
At Reese Auto Service in Lyman, you will find highly skilled mechanics who will get the job done right the first time. They work on anything from light line jobs of tire alignments, suspension work, and oil changes to heavy line jobs of engine replacement, differentials, and all powertrain components. Make sure all your recreational vehicles are working at top speed by getting them checked at Reese Auto Service in Lyman so your time having fun doesn't end early. Reese Auto Service, 541 State Highway 413, Lyman.
When it comes to professional propane service, you can always count on the team at T7 Propane in Woodruff. With a focus on safety, quality product, and excellent service for each customer, you'll always call T7 first. When you work with the professionals at T7 Propane, you're working with the best. For all your propane needs, call T7 Propane in Woodruff, Utah, 435-793-4208.
Welcome back into Home Field Advantage presented by Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming, and a few more thanks to Les Schwab, Union, Stacy's Repair, and Reese Auto, as well as and Heritage Auto. Can't forget about them as well. Thank you so much for supporting high school athletics and making all our broadcasts possible, and especially this show as well. And we'll end this Home Field Advantage episode with a recap of Lyman soccer. We'll start with the Lady Eagles. 4-11 finish, 3-9 on the regular season. This squad has a lot of players returning, including Carly Sabie, a 20-plus goal scorer this season, and she's going to be a prime candidate for a top goal scorer next year in the 3A.
Yeah, we talked about building block years, and that's probably the best way to describe this year for Lyman High School as well. They're still trying to make the state tournament in soccer for the first time, and it's not easy. It's one of those things where it's not easy. It's not like 4A where you automatically get a game to try to win, and if you win that game, you're in. You have to finish in the top 4 of the table, and that's not an easy thing to do with a bunch of established programs. And for Lyman, I think this year, I think it was a good, solid year, kind of showing that hey, we can play with some teams, but we got to make some adjustments heading into next year. Sometimes getting into a 7-6 soccer game, it's one of the most entertaining soccer games in the world, but as a coach, you might start turning your hair gray a little early because of a 7-6 game. But, I mean, it's just things that they're going to learn from this year. They're going to take with them next year. They're going to be a year stronger, a year smarter in a soccer sense, and they're going to be a year faster. So it's going to be, I think this year is going to lead to some pretty solid things heading into Lyman's program next year.
I like how you kind of meshed all the close results. The 7-6 loss at Green River. They lost to Lander Valley, one of the top teams, 3-2. They lost to Cody 4-2. The number one seed in the state tournament this week on the girls' side, and also the defending state champs. They gave them a run for their money up north in Cody. So this team at the end of the season was just hitting all cylinders and kind of progressing really well, which you want. You may not get the best results. You may not get a win, of course, but they did end the season on a winning note up in Pinedale. But overall for this team, they're going to remember those losses, close losses, and come back next year being like, hey, if we tweak this just a little bit more, if we take advantage of the backdoor cut, if we just kind of get a second better run on the ball and not go off sides, these games could have different meaning next year, and this program could make the state tournament for the first time. And switching to the Lyman boys, first-year head coach Cody Early and a very young roster. They finished 1-11 on the season and 1 win in conference play as well. And for this boys squad for the Eagles, their lone senior was Wyatt Nebaker, basically the anchor of their whole entire defense, and he started playing a little bit of midfield at the end of the year, was a huge leader for them. But I loved how this team played on the field. They could have been down by 5 goals, and the way they played, you would think it is a win-or-go-home UEFA Champions League type of match where they're constantly picking each other up and just getting after the ball at every single time.
Yeah, it's just progress, kind of like on the girls' side too. It's so hard because Lyman's so good at everything else that, same with Mountain View where, the Valley has been dominant in volleyball, been really good in basketball for a while too, that you think soccer, we're just going to come in and we're going to dominate this sport. But it's a little bit different because soccer's just a different game. Yeah. It's a different game. It's a game you have to learn, and it's not an easy game. I think it gets the rap of, soccer's an easy sport. All you do is kick the ball around. And it's like, well, that's not at all what you do all the time in soccer. It's, how do I weight this pass to send my teammate, running down the sideline for a nice through ball. It's how do I get this shot on goal even though I can only get my big toe on the ball? How do I get this towards frame? And it's a lot of things that you have to learn. You have to learn these different skills, and I think it's coming along nicely over in Lyman. Really, like we said, Rome wasn't built in a day, so these programs, they're going to take time, and I think they're heading in the right direction as they seem to be getting better each year.
And I like how you mentioned it's a lot of technical skills that these kids have to learn, and talking to the coaches, just every single one of them, some of these kids, they've just said, I want to play soccer. And first ever time kicking a soccer ball as a freshman, and now they're learning these skills. They're learning the technical analysis of soccer, how to pass on the backside of your foot, practicing dribble moves, back flicking the ball forward, trying to get past your defender, trying to outrun them. Because soccer, when you're outrunning something, it's a very physical sport because you're edging your arm into them and they're edging their arm back into you.
Yeah, it's undercover physicality because you don't see it a lot. It's not like football where, you line up face to face and you tackle someone. It's kind of more of like you're running full speed and you're bumping into each other and you get a shoulder and that could send you off balance a little bit, and that's the difference between winning and losing the ball back. And it's a different type of physicality in soccer. I think that's the best way to put it. But, it's still a sport that you have to learn all of these skills. And if your first time playing soccer in high school, it's going to be 4 years of you trying to catch up because a lot of these programs have youth programs that give kids opportunities to learn all that stuff. So when you come into high school, now instead of, trying to learn the basics, now the basics. Let's get into some more advanced stuff. And I think that's part of what all young programs go through. And I think it'll get figured out, and I think Lyman's going to eventually become a pretty good spot in soccer. I think the Bridger Valley will become a pretty good hotbed for soccer as well.
Well, you look at the Bridger Valley altogether between the two high schools. When they start out in the beginning of their sports programs, it's about developing. It's about developing the program, developing the culture, getting the Valley to buy in, and the Valley's bought into every single sport. Like, there's a lot of people who go to the soccer games, and a lot of kids in elementary and middle school that go and look up to these athletes, if it's a brother or a sister or a cousin or some type of family member watching them play, they will buy into that as well. And I think the future for Bridger Valley soccer is bright, super bright. And I think I think they'll make the state tournament within maybe next season, 2 or 3 years down the line. I think Lyman and Mountain View will be tough teams to beat in 3A soccer.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, one of the biggest things is having the younger students looking up to the older students. Mm-hmm. That's what really gets your program going, is when you get the younger kids involved and get them interested, and now all they want to do is play soccer. And, it's the same with basketball. Like, you see the kids all the time. How often after a game do you see kids all running out on the floor shooting hoops and, trying to navigate your way through? It's the same thing in soccer. You have all these kids, if they can watch, and now they're like, oh, I want to do that as well. Now that's really how you set the base roots for your program, is with the youth. And I think that's kind of what's happening in the Bridger Valley, is now kids are starting to, oh, this game is awesome, starting to fall in love with soccer. And Wyoming's a unique place where you can play both football and soccer, because back home for me, football and soccer are played both in the fall, so you can pick one.
Same here as well.
Yeah, you only pick one or the other. And because of the weather and the way the weather is, soccer's played in the spring, and I think that's a unique opportunity for a lot of kids to do both and realize that, hey, both are great sports. They're different sports, but both are great sports.
Yeah, and we see a lot of kids in the Bridger Valley play football and soccer as well. Davon Cheer for Lyman, Landon Solis for Mountain View. Just to name a few names right there, as there's a lot of dual sport athletes in both of those high schools that play football and soccer, or volleyball and soccer on the girls' side, or basketball and soccer, however you may phrase it. There is a lot of dual sport athletes that are just amazing down in the Bridger Valley. That will do it for today's edition of Homefield Advantage, presented by Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. Anthony Colasuno,
Aaron Poling,
signing out. Have a great weekend.